Hello everybody, this is Danny TCV, the Criminal Violin, and today I'm going to be doing something different, very different from what I've ever done on my channel before. Today, I am actually on Reddit. Instead of the typical Reddit subreddits that people do videos on, I'm going to do something a bit different. I was inspired to do this video and then potentially do this kind of as a sort of type of a series or something whenever I feel like it, whenever I see a story that I really like on the subreddit Writing Prompts. Today, this video is the start of me trying to not blab like this, and instead actually get into the video content, which is me being a narrator of some of the stories that people wrote for this post on Writing Prompts. So without further ado, in your lifetime, stories of ordinary people being reborn or transported into fantastical worlds of magic and heroes were popular. Not that you knew this, being a dog. Then you got hit by a truck, and now you're a dragon that just wishes belly rubs were as easy to get as they used to be. All I wanted was to be a good boy. I wanted to wait at the door for my people. I wanted to fetch the pine cones and bring them back like little presents to show my love. I especially wanted to scare away the little four-legged and bushy-tailed tree demons that chirped and ate the birdseed. And most of all, I wanted to bark away the white doom that brought the rain and blotted out the sun. But that didn't happen. Life doesn't always go as planned. So when I saw the truck back out of the driveway, and I saw the master's human puppy crawling behind it, I knew what I had to do. I had to be a good boy. My loud voice wasn't going to stop it, but I always ran fast. So I ran. I grabbed him and I tossed him as far away as I could. I felt something explode in my chest, a searing pain and a strange numbness. My vision blurred and fogged over until all I saw was a veil of white. When I heard the crying wail of the newborn, I knew I was a good boy. My person screamed and ran to me. Her warm hand stroked my ears gently. Her tears felt like rain on my fur. I wish I could have cried with her. I wagged my tail until it stopped. Then I drifted out into a void of white. The warm radiance lifted me up and surrounded me like a blanket. I didn't feel pain anymore, only peace. At the edge of the white, there existed a tiny pinprick of color, a single ray of green and blue that pierced through the veil. Instinctively, I walked and then ran as fast as I could, called by the immutable summons of light. I smashed my muzzle against it and the white void cracked like an egg. Hatching is a weird thing. I don't know if I'll ever understand it. I crawled out of my egg and looked around at my brothers and sisters. There must have been dozens of them. I knew they were my siblings, but they looked so different. They had tiny scales all over, green and gold and black, spotted with glimmering brilliance, even in the dim light. We crawled through the pile of warm dirt and molded leaf litter towards the cracks in the light. Together we dug, with our pointed muzzles and our tiny claws. We sang the song of our people, a tiny squeak. I wanted to find Mother so badly. We burst forth from the mound and crawled to freedom. My brothers and sisters scattered into the forest, and I followed, not knowing what to expect or where to go. My tail shook. I quivered, hiding under a mossy log. A four-legged and bushy-tailed tree demon walked around me, and this time I was the one hiding from my life. Underneath that log, I learned to cry. That one was from BLT_with_ranch. This one is by Redneck Jedi 72. All these years later, I still have not forgotten that fateful day. I was wandering the neighborhood one day while my human was gone. He would disappear for what felt like days on end. How differently time seemed to pass in those days. I was rolling around in the grass across the street from my home when I heard the noise. It was my human's truck. I was so excited. I wanted to greet him, to welcome him home after he was gone for so long. I couldn't contain my excitement. I sprinted towards him, my tongue flapping in the wind as I bounded toward the road. My human didn't see me until it was too late. My body was suddenly filled with pain, and I was crushed under the wheels. My human stopped his truck and got out, crying. No, 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 no. I'm so sorry, boy. I wanted to get up and let him know it was okay, that I still loved him, but I couldn't get up no matter how much I struggled. My human reached into his truck and pulled out some kind of weird stick, not the kind I like to chew on. He pointed it at me. I'm so sorry, he said again. I love you, boy. Just stay calm. You're going to a better place. He did something to stick, and it made a loud clicking sound. I'm so sorry, he repeated, tears streaming down his face. Then the stick made a loud bang, and everything went dark. I woke up somewhere dark. The smells and sounds around me were not familiar. I was far from my own territory. I stood up and stretched, and I could tell something was very different about me. I spun around and I had to look, and yelped in surprise. I looked a lot different. I had scales like that lizard I had eaten a few days before, and I had wings like that bird I almost caught when I tried to steal food from my bowl. I flapped them once, but sneezed from all the dust it kicked up. Strange lights shot out of my nostrils when I did, too, and I jumped in surprise. It looked like the type of light me and my human sat by one night in the woods after a long day of playing outside. I took a look around me, taking in my new surroundings. There were trees all around. I could hear birds chirping and squirrels running across the branches. I could smell so many critters. Some smelled familiar, while others were new to me. Where was I? I walked for a few minutes, following my nose to a stream. Stopped to take a drink, but it took me a while to get the hang of drinking water with my new tongue. It had a strange fork in it for some reason. I kept walking beside the stream and followed it down. That's when I smelled them. Humans! I bounded through the forest. Maybe they could help me get back home. I saw their houses up ahead and ran faster, my tongue flapping in the wind yet again. One of them saw me, and I ran toward her. She screamed and ran away. Why? I just wanted to play. I could hear other people screaming too. All the humans ran and hid, except for a few. They grabbed some pointy sticks and ran toward me. They wanted to play, I thought as they ran toward me. One of them threw a stick at me. It flew over my head. I turned and I ran after it. I sniffed around until I found it lying in the grass. I picked it up and held it between my teeth as I ran to return it to my new friends. I dropped in front of them, panting from all the running. They looked at each other very confused. One of them finally threw another stick. I ran and I got that one too. A third human threw a stick. It flew really close, so I jumped and caught it in the air. I returned it to the puzzled humans. I sat down, still panting, waiting for someone else to throw a stick. But they just stood there. I sniffed them, and I could tell they were scared. Why? I thought we were friends. What in the name of the king is happening? One of them asked. I have no idea, another one said. It's acting like a dog. It's a trick, another human chimed in. They all began to argue what they should do next. I wanted to show them I was friendly, so they rolled over onto my back and started rolling around, my tongue still hanging out. They looked at me in shock. They all started to walk away, saying something about coming up with a new plan, except one man who stayed behind. He slowly walked toward me, stick in hand. He raised it above his head as he got close. He did not look happy. I stopped whirling around and looked up at him, with that same goofy, happy expression on my face. He slowly lowered his stick and knelt down. He started rubbing my belly. Men, come back! He yelled with a smile as my rear left leg started kicking involuntarily. You must see this! Edward, get back! One of them yelled as he ran in and jabbed me with a stick. I yelped in pain and jumped to my feet. I ran back into the trees, tail between my legs. What did I do wrong? I just don't get it. What was that for? I heard the human, called Edward, yell as I hid in the trees. I pulled the stick out of my side with my teeth and sat down to lick my wound. I would probably go back in a little while, but I didn't care about those mean humans. I think I made a new friend. And I'll read one final one by user Rizor99. I am a direwolf, the mightiest creature in all the land. My wolves inspire fear in the hearts of anyone who would harm my humans. The master of all I survey. I stride proudly around the borders of my family's lands, ready to alert them of any threat. I am majestic, the most powerful creature who ever lived, and... Ooh, a butterfly! I changed direction on a dime and sprinted after it. I am a smart doggo. I know not to walk out onto the evil Black River. It was dangerous. Cars did zoomies on it all day and all night long. My mom and dad taught me that on my first days of life as a puppy. But the tiny human was slowly stumbling in that direction, and Dad couldn't see her with his head in the trunk of our car. I ran up to her and tried to stop her, but she just patted my head and smiled and kept walking. Her little paws had reached the blackness. I had to act fast. I barked my loudest bark, and it got Dad to look at us. His face turned to horror as he started running towards her, but I knew he was too far away. It was the wolf's time to act. I sprinted into the dangerous black place after my beloved baby human. I saw the car coming at her rapidly, but I sped up. I could get there first. I knew it in my heart. With no time to spare, I summoned my mightiest whoop and knocked her out of the way. Then I was flying. Very confusing. But it wasn't fun jumpy flying. It was hurdy flying. I hit the ground and I realized I couldn't move. But I didn't care. My eyes were locked on tiny human as Dad scooped her up in his arms before sprinting over to me. Both of them petted and cradled me as tears streamed down their faces. Good boy. Good boy. It's okay, buddy. Oh God, I'm so sorry. You did so good. Such a good boy, Dad said, now sobbing uncontrollably as he held me. I didn't yelp or cry because I didn't want them to be sad. I couldn't wag my tail to tell them it was okay, so I licked their hands. I wanted them to know I would have done anything for my humans. I closed my eyes for the last time as I was being cuddled and told I was a good boy. Not a bad way to go. My eyes suddenly snapped open in confusion. I was in a forest now. Things looked different. The colors were brighter. I could blink sideways. Was this doggy heaven? A girl came out of the woods and stopped in her tracks upon seeing me. She wore strange clothing, but she looked an awful lot like my tiny human. As I ran towards her, I realized I now towered above her. She very cautiously reached out and petted me. I opened my mouth to smile at her, and she screamed and ran away. I had never been more sad in my entire hecking life. Looking down at my paws, I realized I had scales on my feet. Compared to my happy, fluffy fur, I was not a fan, but I'd have to get used to it. Not knowing what else to do, I headed off in the direction she had run, but slowly and more carefully this time, so as not to scare her again. As I walked, the ground rumbled around me, which would be kind of fun if I wasn't so scared of thunder. I walked for what might have been hours or days. I was never too good at telling time, until I finally arrived at a town. But again, it looked very different. The houses were tiny and made of stones. The roofs were made of what cows eat. Oh, and the town was on fire. Humans ran from other humans in shiny suits who were chasing them with metal sticks. When they caught them, I realized the mean men were hurting them. I frantically searched the town with my eyes for my new little friend. I spotted her, but I could see a big man in the most shiny suit walking towards her. He pulled out his giant metal stick off his hip as well. He was going to hurt my tiny human. I had to act fast. Without a thought, I leapt into the air, and I flew. Happy flying, fun flying! Whee! Whoops, no time for sky zoomies. I was on a mission. I dove down towards my new tiny human friend with all the speed my wings could muster. I made a very fun big noise when I landed between them. The shiny man seemed stunned for a moment, but then continued walking towards us with evil in his eyes. I opened my mouth to bark at him, and a whole bunch of flames came out. Aw, heck. Sorry, mister. You were a meanie head, but I didn't mean to make you a toasty marshmallow. Oh well, I would do anything to protect my tiny human. Now more shiny metal men were running towards us. She scrambled up on my back and urged me to move, and I took the hint. I soared into the sky as quickly as I could. We didn't have a destination. I just kept flying to get her as far away from danger as I possibly could. I think we both knew instinctively that she was my new master, and I loved her already. I am a direwolf, I thought to myself. Now a flying, furless, armored direwolf, no less. The mightiest creature in all the land. The master of all I survey. And I would not rest until someone called me a good boy again. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this first edition, kind of testing the waters and seeing how I enjoy it and seeing how anybody else might enjoy it, of narrating stories in the subreddit Writing Prompts. This was actually a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. For now, this is the first video you're going to get of it, and I hope everybody enjoyed this little bit of narration. And if you did, please do make sure to leave a like, and certainly head on to r/writingprompts. Read these stories and just check out the writing prompts for yourself, and let me know what you thought down below. And I hope to see you in whatever the next video may be, whether it is, again, something like this. I'm also planning on doing a little more voice acting fun videos too, and a little bit some maybe voice acting challenges for various things, just to try and see how long I can get myself to stay with a specific voice and character. And I might even start up this War of Mine series. I do like 10 episodes each year for some reason. I keep doing that even though it's the same technical series. I don't know why I've been doing that with that. It's just kind of how it works. It's like every time it reaches around this time of year, anywhere between April and like June, I just suddenly start getting into making game videos again, because that's what I really love to do. But it's just a pain in the ass because I get burnt out by late July, early August, because it's super quick like that, because it's like, one, I hate editing, but two is I have so few games that my computer can handle, especially while recording. So it's like, it's frustrating things. But anyway, keep your eyes up for that stuff too. And yeah, so I hope you have a great day or night, wherever you are. Stay safe, stay fluffy, and hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.